Morning, wherever you are. Good day. All right, Amazon. Flash briefing. Amazon. Flash briefing.
Jamie, here's your flash briefing.
Thank you.
In NPR News.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Dwayne Brown. In Arizona, Democrat Katie Hobbs has won the governor's race, defeating an ally of Donald Trump who falsely claimed the 2020 election was rigged. Republican Kari Lake also refused to say if she would accept the results of the tightly contested governor's race. This comes as the former president is set to announce his likely run for 2024 tonight.
And all the
In Giles,
Republican voters moved to Republican states.
It looks like a significant uptake in Arizona of a Trump slate of candidates, and specifically a slate of candidates who ran and campaigned on the notion that the 2020 election was stolen. And if you look back nationally a little bit, Democrats have now flipped 3 governor seats this election cycle. In addition to Arizona, they've also won in Maryland and Massachusetts, while Republicans did flip the Nevada governor's seat.
That's been Giles reporting. China's leader Xi Jinping is meeting with other world leaders at the G20 summit today, many of them U.S. allies. This is only the second international trip Xi has taken since the start of the coronavirus pandemic in 2020. There's Emily Fang reports.
Xi has met with the leaders of Australia, France, the Netherlands, and South Korea. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese shook hands with Xi during a face-to-face, the first Australian leader to meet with Xi since 2017. Their meeting was notable because China and Australia have clashed diplomatically in the last 2 years. China then imposed bruising trade sanctions on Australia's most lucrative food and coal exports and effectively expelled all Australian media outlets from China. We have had our differences, Albanese said at the meeting, but our bilateral relationship is an important one. Emily Fang, NPR News, Nusa Dua, Indonesia.
Today is the last day for the public to send in suggestions to the U.S. Census Bureau for how to tally the country's residents for the next national headcount in 2030. As NPR's Hansi Luong tells us, the Bureau says it's focused on getting a better count of people of color and rural residents.
The Constitution calls for a count once a decade of every person living in the United States. But in 2020, the Census Bureau continued a decades-long problem of overcounting people who identify as white and not Latino, while undercounting Latinos, Black people, and Native Americans. That's partly why the agency's director, Robert Santos, is asking the public to email their suggestions for the 2030 census.
Of course, we will keep talking to communities as we progress through the decade. But now is the best time to make the biggest impact on our research and our operational design.
The Bureau plans to finalize that design in 2024. Hansi Luong, NPR News, Washington.
Republicans are just one seat short of a majority in the House of Representatives, but the narrow margin could create more challenges for GOP leaders. You're listening to NPR News. The campaign for Democrat Beto O'Rourke is reflecting on its loss to Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott. As Sergio Martinez Beltran reports from the Texas newsroom, the campaign says Republican messaging hurt their efforts.
Jason Lee, Beto O'Rourke's deputy campaign manager, says that Democrats showed the importance of competing in every election cycle, even if the environment is not favorable for them.
We must mount serious electoral efforts to make sure that we don't take a step backwards. Never let go of the rope, and to do what Beto taught all of us to do, which is try. And we did.
However, talking to reporters, Lee acknowledged Republicans were effective in tying O'Rourke to President Joe Biden on some issues, turning some voters off. Republican Governor Greg Abbott beat O'Rourke by 11 percentage points. He will now serve a third term. I'm Sergio Martinez Beltran in Austin.
Shares of Home Depot are down this morning about 2% before just before the market opened
Shares of
today.
Home
The
Depot.
home improvement retailer easily beat third quarter expectations yesterday for profit and revenue.
The shares of Home Depot are down
they
by
reiterated
2%.
its expectations that sales would weaken and only grow about 3% in the next quarter. Well, the markets are open. Stocks higher at this hour after the government reported another drop in wholesale prices last month. The Dow is up
really
at this
take a
hour about
census on it?
2.5%.
Monitor Lowe's and Home
Tech-heavy
Depot at the same
NASDAQ
time and all
is
other
on the
construction
upside
places.
as well, about 1.5%.
Then you can get an overall
S&P is trading
understanding
higher.
and spit it out as
I'm
news.
Dwayne Brown. You're listening to NPR News.
These days, we're having a lot of conversations about representation in pop culture, but these debates are not
Amazon.
new. I'm a
Skip.
In NASA news, NASA and SpaceX are targeting 4:19 p.m. EST Monday, November 21st, to launch the company's 26th commercial resupply mission to the International Space Station. NASA has awarded contracts to Air Products and Chemicals Incorporated of Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Play.
And Lind Incorporated of Danbury, Connecticut, to supply up to approximately 15 million pounds of liquid hydrogen for use at facilities across the agency. NASA has selected Geo Optics Incorporated of Pasadena, California, to provide commercial small constellation satellite data products that may augment NASA collected data in the future. NASA sets new coverage for Artemis I moon mission launch. NASA to brief status of Artemis I moon mission today. In weather. Right now in Seattle, it's 36 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Today's forecast has mostly sunny weather, with a high of 53 degrees and a low of 32 degrees. From NASA,
Alright, Amazon.
NASA
Off.
and SpaceX are targeting
Amazon.
4:19 p.m.
Off. Amazon, tell us a good joke.
What do you call discounted sushi? A raw deal.
Discarded sushi, a raw deal. Well, you know, sometimes it could be a raw deal when you're eating it. I'm just saying. Anyways, Amazon, tell us a bad joke.
What's the warmest winter jacket? A blazer.
The warmest winter jacket is a blazer. Could be. Alright, speaking of that, Mark Twain said the coldest winter he ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. Because it gets windy and cold over there across that bridge. The Golden Gate. Alright, y'all. Have a great day wherever you are. Peace out.